Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. Today we are going to explore how Wolby AI Assistant is transforming the analytics world, from clicking through dashboards to simply talking to your data and get instant insights. Before we begin, a quick introduction about me. I'm Rajendran, Development Head for Wolby AI. I have 15 years of experience in building and scaling various data platforms like big data, data integration, and predictive analytics using frameworks like Hadoop, HBase, Hive, Spark, and NiFi. Today, I lead both product and engineering teams for Bolva. You can connect with me in LinkedIn by scanning the QR code here. For the past several months, our team has been focused on bringing conversation analytics experience inside Bolva and inside your applications too. Today, I am happy to walk you through that journey. Here's how we'll navigate today's session. We'll start with why conversational analytics is the next big leap. We'll introduce Bolby AI Assistant and its key capabilities, the value it unlocks for executives, a live demo on interacting with your data using natural language, how to embed AI Assistant into your applications, followed by configuration, branding, and customization, high level architecture, and under the hood workflow. Next, security, privacy, and guardrails, followed by real world use cases. And finally, we'll see what's coming next in our roadmap. So let's begin with the shift happening in BI today. Traditionally, dashboards have been the centerpiece of BI. They work, but they come with certain limitations. So let's take this retail dashboard as an example. I'm a retail manager trying to understand why a particular store sales has been dropped last month. So to check that, I have to select the date range. I have to choose the store and then take a look at the top stores by sales, check the conversion rate, compare month on month performance, inspect food traffic and retention, and then stitch everything together manually. So that's a lot of clicks before I even begin to understand the real issue, right? For non-technical users, this become even harder. They depend on analysts to pull reports and visuals as well. Over time, teams create more dashboards, scatter insights, and their decisions get slowed down because of too many manual workflows. Even the dashboards give information, the journey becomes cumbersome. It starts from question to insight, becomes slow, manual, and gets fragmented, right? But something big has changed with tools like ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini. People now expect to interact with systems the same way they interact with people through conversation. So instead of navigating filters, I can simply ask why this particular store sales dropped last month. And the AI assistant instantly analyzes the same underlying data and tells me that sales dropped certain percentage in the store because food traffic got declined and the top two selling products went out of stock, right? So no filters, no clicks, no dashboard hopping, just a direct answer. That's the shift from navigating dashboards to having a clear conversation with your data. Now that we have seen why this shift is happening, let me introduce a solution that bridges the gap, the Bolby AI Assistant. So, what is Bolby AI Assistant? It is a conversation analytics engine built directly inside Bolby AI. You can ask questions in plain English and instantly get charts, grids, KPIs, or summaries as answers. You can drill deeper using follow-up prompts and even continue your past analysis using the chat history with full context retained. And you can embed the same AI assistant inside your application so that you can give your end users the same conversational analytical capabilities as well. Now, let's look at the key capabilities. The key capabilities were natural language querying, semantic interpretation, context-aware responses, multi-dataset orchestration, permission-aware governed insights, tenant-level customization, embedding parity, and full-fledged AI safety layer. So we'll walk through all of these in the following demo. So before demo, we'll see the value proposition for executives and decision makers. So executives don't want to navigate dashboards. They want straight answers. With Bolby AI Assistant, leaders can ask strategic questions in plain English and immediately see KPI shifts, trends, summaries, and explanation. So you get a clear, actionable insights on demand, enabling faster and more confident decision making. So I'll walk you through a real world scenario. Here, the screenshot in the slides are taken from AI Assistant. The conversation were using dummy data to simulate real-world use case. So imagine you are a chief operating officer preparing for a retail performance meeting. So instead of opening multiple dashboards, you simply ask, what are the top 5 products and how are they trending? The assistant instantly responds with a chart, and with one-click summary, you will get a clear narrative. So which products are consistent leaders, which ones are gaining momentum, and how competing products are trending when compared to one another, along with actionable recommendations like what you need to do, like increasing your marketing focus or adjusting your inventory. So in the screenshot on the left, you can see that the AI recommends that increasing your marketing focus on a high momentum product will yield higher capitalization or higher revenue. So now let's look at the opposite side. So which products are dropping and why? The AI assistant highlights the underperformers here with quantities and sales figures. Explain probable reasons for the cost like market saturation, shifting preferences, pricing issues, or some low visibility, and recommends next steps such as adjust the product pricing, boost your marketing, or gather customer feedbacks to improve the product sales. And this is the power of conversational analytics for executives. So there is no digging to dashboards involved, no waiting for reports. Just ask Bolby AI Assistant. It delivers insights, explanations, and recommendations instantly. So this fundamentally changes the speed and quality of decision making at the leadership level. So now that we have seen the value for executives, so let's jump into the live demo and see how everything works inside Bowl BA and how the same experience can be integrated inside your application as well. So let's start with the core experience, that is talking to your data in plain English. I have opened Bowl BA AI Assistant in my browser. Here, you can see that there's a nice chat interface with a welcoming message. You will notice 6 prompt suggestions at the bottom. These prompt suggestions were personalized based on the data sources I have created or accessed recently, are the ones I have access permissions. I can start the conversation by selecting any one of these prompts, or I can type my own prompt here. For now, I have chosen the question here. You can see that the visual generated instantly. I can switch between chart view and grid view by clicking here. If you scroll down, you can see there are follow-up prompts here. You can choose these prompts to dig deeper, or you can type your own prompt here. At any point, I can click Summarize button to get instant AI-generated insights. These are the insights I have shown earlier in the executive example slide. And another key capability is the chat history. Here I can load the past conversations, and I can continue my investigation from where I left off, either by selecting the follow-up prompts or typing my own. Here, each session retains its context, your prior questions, the data set you are exploring, and the analytical flow. so that the chat continuity is maintained properly. Next, you can start the new session by clicking here. These are the core capabilities of AI Assistant. Next, I will walk through a real-world use case scenario with the AI Assistant. So instead of asking questions one by one live now, I have opened one of my previous conversation with a dummy retail sales data. So imagine me as a regional retail manager reviewing performance across several stores. So instead of navigating multiple dashboards here, I used the AI assistant to get my answers. Here, I have asked how have our total sales trended over the months. I have started with a big picture question. With this question, I immediately able to see 8 month sales trend. Assistance also highlights key patterns in the summary. That is overall sales performance, notable decline, mid-year growth, and even future projection for my planning. So this gives me instant situational awareness without opening any of the dashboards. Next, I have asked, show me our top 5 products by sales to check which products are driving my revenue, right? Immediately, AI shows me my top sellers in the smartphone and laptop category. So this tells me what's performing well at a glance. Now, I want to know whether these top performers are growing or losing their momentum. For that, I have asked, how are these top products trending month over month? So instantly, AI gives me a line chart with trend lines, peak months, and able to see consistency indicators and early signals for product lifecycle changes. So this replaces hours of manual work for me. Next, I want to know which products are dropping the most. Why are they dropping? Right. So again, these questions reveal risk, product risk. Here, the AI assistant reveals two products with a sharp decline, along with their product sales figures and discount figures. Right. So instead of guessing, I get clear answers and explanations. Next, I want to understand geographic performance. For that, I have asked the question, which region contribute the most revenue? Again, AI ranks the regions instantly, west, central, east, south, and north. So this helps me know where the demand is strong and where the growth opportunities exist. Right. Next, I want to know who are our top customers. Here, again, AI quickly identifies high value customers and their contributions. So this helps my marketing and loyalty teams to prioritize retention efforts. Now, I have asked which categories gives us the highest revenue. Again, AI shows electronics dominates my revenue. So this tells me where to focus my supply chain efforts, marketing efforts, and the store visibility. Now, let's talk about what's affecting the profitability. For that, I asked showing discounts by categories. Again, AI highlights where we are overspending on discounts. Again, here, electronics top the charts with 1.24 million in discounts. That's a clear margin leakage, right? Similarly, I have asked to suggest improvement strategies based on the recent sales performance. Again, here AI brings everything together. It reviews the last few months and suggests electronics have strong dominance. So I have to prioritize inventory on electronics. Next, clothing is declining. So I have to reaccess my existing stocks. Next, home decor fluctuates. So I have to explore strategies to stabilize this market. And last, book shows predictable demand. So I have to maintain. I don't need to overstock anything, right? So this is the kind of insight a retail manager normally gets only after a week of analysis, right? Now that you have seen the AI assistant in action, here's what this really means for retail teams. Today, store manager has to wait for reports. Analysts spend hours exporting data, and trends like stock out, category decline, and post-store performance are spotted very late. So leadership meetings often ends up with pulling up the numbers session instead of decision-making moments, right? So with Bowlby AI Assistant, that changes completely. Managers simply ask questions like which products dropped this week and why, and what action should I take to improve sales? And within seconds, the assistant analyzes millions of rows and delivers answers like the trend, the root cause, and the recommended next steps to improve the sales. No filters, no spreadsheets, no waiting on analysts, right? So this shift from dashboards to conversations creates a measurable impact on faster, more accurate inventory decisions, lowers your analyst workload, and reduces the bottlenecks in decision making, higher revenue through timely actions and promotions, and every store managers become more data driven without needing the BA skills. So this is the power of conversational analytics, and that's what Bowl BA brings to your organization. Next, we will see how you can integrate AI Assistant inside your application. To demonstrate this, I have created a sample ESMI code template project. On running it, you will see output like this. Okay. Consider this is going to be a target application where you want to integrate AI Assistant. So to integrate AI Assistant, we first need to generate the Embed token as a prerequisite step. Okay. This is the UG documentation where you can see the steps to integrate AI Assistant. First step, as a prerequisite, you need to generate Embed token, and then we need to install the Embed SDK either through npm or CDN link, and then we need to add a container div element in your front end where you want to load the AI Assistant. Next, using this code snippet, you need to create a BA instance where you need to pass the role-based server URL, set the mode as AI Assistant, pass the embed container ID, that is div element ID, and then the embed token, which is generated through the prerequisite step. Okay, I will show this in the pre-filled code of same Visual Studio project. As a first step, I have added a code for generating embed token in the home controller. Here you can see that I have given the information of user account under which I'm going to load the AI Assistant. Next, I have passed the server URL, site identifier, and this embed secret. You can get this embed secret and the settings. So consider this is like a secret handshake happening between the target application and the VA application. So make sure you store this embed secret securely, that it shouldn't be exposed in the front end. Right. After providing this information, you need to call the authorize API. So this method will return the access token that is going to be consumed for embedding the AI system. So next, in the layered HTML, I have referred the embed SDK as a CDN. And I have created an index.js file where I have added two methods. One to invoke the access token, embed token method that we have written in the home controller. Another is the AI assistant rendering method, which we seen in the UG documentation. This is what we have referred in this script. Next, in the index HTML, I have created a div element with the ID dashboard. Here is where I'm going to load the AI assistant. In the body onload method, I have invoked the render AI assistant method, which I have defined here. The render AI assistant method, I have called the embed token, which again going to invoke the home controller to get the embed token, which will be passed here. And you can see that I have given the dashboard div element ID here with the mode set as AI assistant. On running this code, I can able to integrate the AI assistant in the application. You can see that the AI assistant loaded in the sample project here, you can see the same chat interface with the prompt suggestions. And the features are as same as what you've seen in the self-service mode. There is no difference between the capabilities in the self-service and in the embedded mode. You'll get the same functionality, same conversational experience here in the embedded mode as well. So with the 3 sets of code changes, I'm able to easily integrate the AI assistant in my application. Similarly, you can integrate AI assistant in any type of your application, any platforms or any frameworks. You can easily integrate the AI assistant. We saw how AI assistant works and how you can integrate in your application. Then the very next question anyone would ask is, how can I control the AI assistant, how it behaves, or which resources it can access to, right? That is where this configuration comes in. All data sources and dashboards are governed by permission management system in RBA, that is the role-based access control and role-level security model under UMS. So when you open a AI assistant, you will see the prompts that are related only to the data sources you have access to. So let's go back to the application. And the settings users, you can see that I have 3 users in my system: Frank, John, and myself. Myself and Frank has full permissions in the system. Whereas for John, he has access only to the retail sales data. If I switch back to AI Assistant tab, you can see that all my prompts are based on 4 different data sources I have access to: retail, asset, policy claims, and Google Ads. If I type at symbol, I can get access to all the data sources in my account. If I switch to John, that is my private window, he has access only to the retail sales data source here. And all the prompts in the AI agent is based only on retail sales data. If I type at symbol also, I can see only the retail sales services is listed. So role-based access control and role-level security gets kicked in as part of the application design itself. In the embedded level also, same permission mechanism works. However, as an app developer, you can further narrow down the data sources or dashboard collection one could access from your application by passing them as a collection of input for the SDK. So I will show a demo at the last regarding this. Next is personalization. Here you can control the number of prompts that is shown in the initial page. You can also show or hide the additional options through the icons in the AI assistant, that is the beta tag, chat history, all those options. You can control it as per your UI needs. In terms of branding, for logos, you can change them at the application level. For AI assistant name, you can still customize it with the in the embedded level SDK. First, I will change the logo at the application level and then demonstrate how the customization works in embedded demo. Now switching back to the application, go to site settings, and the site settings, you can find the branding section. Here, simply change the AI logo. Just click save. Go back to the AI Assistant tab. Just refresh it. You can see that the AI logo gets replaced. Now, switching back to demo, here I can change the name of the assistant, that is AI Assistant, to some other name. Here I have configured syncfusion. I can control the initial prompts. Here I set 4. And as mentioned earlier, we can control the data sources or dashboards that you can access through your application by passing them as a simple collection here. I've given only 2 data sources, retail sales and policy claims. I can also customize the additional options in the AI assistant using these provisions to control the options in the UI. For reference, I'm going to hide the beta tag alone. Let's run the sample. Here you can see that the data tag is hidden. New logo is loaded. AI assistant name is changed to sync Cody. And you will have only the 4 prompts that is based on the retail sales analysis and the policy claims. If you type at symbol also, you will get only these 2 data sources as we are controlled in the SDK. So this is how you can control the AI assistant embedding experience in your app. And this provides a white labeling kind of experience for your developers too. And they can optimize for their UI needs. Next is conversation guardrails. We have built a strong guardrails in the AI layer. The assistant only responds to relevant questions. It filters irrelevant questions as well as off-domain topics. You can ask questions about the schema. However, it responds only if you have enough permissions. If you query sensitive details like asking for credentials or server details, it won't respond. And this ensures AI responses stay safe, compliant, and within your business context. Regarding the cost and token usage, it is tracked only at your Azure OpenAI account level in case if you're using your own key. If you are using BoldBI AI cloud service, you can still see the token spending at the top. However, if you want to purchase credits, you need to contact us for now. But soon we'll provide option for users to buy credits directly in the UI. And we also built a playground applications to experiment these embedding capabilities. So this is the app. You can control what needs to be shown with the options available here. You can control the prompt suggestion limits. You can control the dashboards, data sources here. You can switch the users and just click apply settings to play with it. Here I switch the user. Similarly, you can try these options and check how it behaves. We'll host this and share the link along with the blog post after the webinar so you can try it at your own. As you can see, this configuration gives you full control over what the assistant can access, how it behaves and appears. Next, we'll see high-level architecture. Everything begins when a user interacts with the AI assistant, either inside BoldBI or through an embedded application. So once the user asks a question, the request is routed to BI server through API gateway. Here, the server immediately handles the authorization and authentication part. That is, it enforces role-based access control and role-level security policies before moving the request to AI service. In AI service layer, the semantic engine comes into play. That is, it performs intent classification and maps schema or metadata informations, and then it applies AI guardrails. That is, it blocks the sensitive or out of scope questions. Only after performing these steps, the AI service prepares a safe structured prompt along with the schema level information and sends it to the LLM. Here, LLM processes it and returns a structured output such as chart definition, SQL, or a summary. It never receives or processes raw data. The AI service then decides what action to take, whether to call the visualization engine or data service layer. So here, if it is a visual, it calls the visualization engine to build charts or tables. If it is a summary call, it calls the data service layer to run the required SQL queries securely inside BoldBI. And the AI assistant finally will display either visual or text based on the request. Here, all SQL execution, role-level security enforcement, and data retrieval happening strictly inside the BoldBI layer. Only the schema level information and the safe aggregates are shared to LLM, and that too only when permissions allow. So this is the high level flow. Next, we'll dig deeper into AI service layer itself. to see what happens under the hood. AI service layer. Here also, it starts with a client asking a question in natural language. Query first reach the BolBA backend, which acts as a secure foundation. Here, all the key BolBA components are listed here. BA server that does the authentication and authorization aspects, enforces role-based access control and role-level security policies. Visualization engine that renders charts, data service which executes SQL, dashboard builder which organizes the visuals. All these four components ensure that every action remains governed, permission aware, and compliant. Next is AI service layer. Once inside the AI service layer, the pipeline is orchestrated using Microsoft Semantic Kernel Framework. Here, this AI layer decides what the user is asking and how to respond. It starts with intent classification. Is this request for creating a visual, summary, text, or SQL? We also identify the dataset, tables, and schema required. Then the query flows into AI guardrails. Here, sensitive questions are blocked, off-domain or irrelevant questions are filtered, credentials, user list, and internal server information are protected here. So, this step ensures AI assistant always stays safe. Next is agentic orchestration, which follows a React style approach. Reason first and then act. This step decides which function to call, whether the assistant needs to create a chart, a SQL, or summary, or to perform follow-up questions. It uses function calling approach to pick up the right capability. Next is structured prompt and schema injection. Here, we prepare the prompt for LLM. We inject dataset schema, allowed operation, visualization rules to follow, and context from past conversation. So this prevents hallucination and ensures that the model produces valid BA safe outputs. Next, we pass the request to LLM and gets the output. Here, LLM output, that is, it returns structured JSON. This output may include visual configurations, valid SQL queries, business summary, follow-up questions. That is, everything comes back in a predictable format that BolBA can process and execute. Finally, the execution layer. All executions happen within BolBA and not in the LLM. Here, if SQL is the output, it is executed in data service layer. If visual configuration is the output, then visuals are rendered using visualization engine. For each execution, role-based access control and role-level security policies are applied. So nothing bypasses the governance layer. So the entire pipeline from intent to SQL execution ensures that AI assistant delivers fast, accurate insights while keeping all your data, permissions, and processing fully governed inside the BolBA layer itself. Next, we have already covered the slide content while discussing the architecture and the conversation guardrails earlier. So just a quick note, all sensitive information are never exposed either to LLM or for the user. Prompts are always sanitized and response are all governed by permission management in BolBA. Next is value for everyone. We have already seen how the AI assistant can be beneficial for executives and decision makers. Similarly, we are going to quickly go over how it can give value for other user personas. Operations and support team can diagnose issues more quickly just by interacting with AI assistant instead of digging through multiple dashboards or waiting for reports from analysts. Product managers can explore the KPIs instantly. That is, they can validate their ideas now, and developers can embed conversational analytics experience into their own applications with very minimal code. And business analysts can eliminate their repeated report creation work and instead they can focus their energy on high value proposition work. So AI assistant just doesn't help leadership alone, but it also speeds up the decision making and productivity gains across all user groups who interacts with the data. What's coming next for the AI assistant? We have plans to expand full branding, theming, and white label customization so that the AI assistant completely blends within your environment or in your product. Support for uploading CSV and Excel files, and instantly you can explore the data through conversation. No data modeling or setup required. Adding support for multi-language and voiceover. Next, we have plans for multimodal support. That is, we have planned to provide support for Llama and other enterprise LLMs. Next, for the enterprises, we have planned for a flexible AI credit purchase and consumption tracking system, which allows you to monitor the usage by team or individual. You can get to see their productivity gains and perform cost optimization as well. So all these enhancements will move the AI assistant from just a simple conversation analytics into a full-fledged conversation analytics platform that scales with your business needs. So to wrap up, here are the key takeaways from today's session. Bowlby AI assistant turns analytics into conversations. Your team gets instant permission-aware insights without navigating or without touching dashboards or writing SQL statements. It guides users with intelligent follow-up statements, remembers the context, and works the same whether inside Bowlby or embedded directly into your product. In short, it accelerates the decision making, reduces the BA dependency, and brings AI-driven insights to every user. That brings us to the end of the session today. Thank you for joining, and I can take your questions now.